This is a Jet 24, Fox 66, your Erie.com special report.
Good evening, I'm Brian Wilk. We interrupt our regular programming to bring you a special report as chaos is filling the streets of downtown Erie right now in the midst of an intense protest over the death of George Floyd. We go now to Sean Lafferty, who is standing by live. Sean?
Yeah, hi, I'm reporting live at 4th and State Street on what has become a kind of frightening and surreal night in downtown Erie. It all began right around 6 o'clock this evening with what was for a while a peaceful protest. It developed as the evening went on into more of a standoff involving protesters and Erie and State Police. Erie and State Police up right about at South Park Row and State Street repeatedly telling the protesters that this was a civil disturbance, that was against the law, and they were to disperse. They did not. The two sides exchanged fireworks, it looked like mostly, and water bottles from the protests. From the police side, there was some kind of a tear gas or something. Took in more than a few breaths of that, so it was not just smoke. I can assure you that. Very, very suddenly, what had appeared to be kind of a standoff escalated into violence as the protesters started from their position at North Park Row and State and started coming north with the police about a half a block or so behind them. Suddenly, there was a group in that group of protesters that started running down the east side of State Street, breaking out windows. Let's cross State Street right now. Stay with me here. It'll probably be tough to hear me, but right above, you can hear what I believe is a state police helicopter. They've been flying around and shining a light down on downtown for much of the last hour. So we're going to move over here real quick. This is part of what that group, it was sudden. They went from basically the standoff to running down the east side of State Street, bashing out every window with anything they could get their hands on. They set a couple of fires. You can see I'm at Ember and Forge right now, and it's still warm. They broke the window out and set a fire on top of the countertop. It was put out by some bystanders and some Erie police who came down and put that out. I can tell you that a few doors up, there was another fire that was set. Someone threw a chair through a window, and again, it was bystanders that reached in and put that out. Bystanders on the west side of the street seemed absolutely stunned that it had escalated to this, but it had. Let's move over here. So, you can see right there. That's what was happening as they went down. And this is just a few. There are probably 3-4 other storefronts that got broken out. And it is just, it kind of does. I took a break there. It does kind of take your breath away when you see that in downtown Erie. Let's move over this way again. I'm kind of getting our photographer, Steve, to follow me here. Now, when the police assume the position that they're in right now, most of the protesters had dispersed. There's still a group of them north of Modern Tool Square. The fire department came down, made sure all the fires were out here, and then suddenly took off east on 4th Street, I believe, and then south on French Street. So I don't know where they were going. But they did leave lights and siren. As I said, it has been a surreal night in downtown Erie. Of course, scenes like this playing out in cities all over the United States. What began as a peaceful protest around 6 o'clock, escalating into chaos. I did see one, I believe, Erie police officer who had appeared to be attended to for a leg injury. Not 100% sure. it was Erie, but I'm pretty sure wearing a dark uniform, different than the state police gray. You can see a couple of the officers starting to remove some of the tactical gear, you know, getting a drink of water. But at this point, still very much on guard as they look north toward where the protesters were last seen headed. Like I said, this went from 0 to 60 very, 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 very quickly. And that's what I can tell you right now. It appears to have calmed down for what that's worth right now. The police are still, like I said, very much on guard. And all we see are small pockets of people north of us. And I haven't heard any other sirens downtown since the fire trucks left us. And there hasn't been any more movement from the police other than interacting with a few people who appeared to be causing some trouble. So at this point, that's the situation in downtown Erie. Chaotic, at times frightening. In 32 years reporting in Erie, Pennsylvania, never seen anything like this, never want to see anything like this again. Reporting live from downtown Erie, I'm Sean Lafferty. Stay safe. We'll send it back to the studio now.
Thank you, Sean. You've been watching a special report on the situation unfolding as we speak in downtown Erie. We'll have a full report on Jet 24 Action News and the very latest on YourErie.com. I'm Brian Wilk. Have a great night.
This has been a Jet 24 Fox 66 special report. For ongoing developments, log on to YourErie.com. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.